Hello and welcome to another episode of Drive with the Healthy Entrepreneur. My name's Rebecca Corbett and I'm the Healthy Entrepreneur, and you're going to be with me for about the next 10 to 15 minutes. That's it, just a little tiny snippet of your day. So welcome to this podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube and IGTV, welcome as well. So if you are on the podcast and you like more visual tools, jump on over to YouTube or IGTV. You'll be able to find the links on my socials, The Healthy Entrepreneur Official. So today what I want to talk about is that feeling of failure that we sometimes get in our business. Of course, at the moment we have a lot of businesses that are having to close and finish up because of the coronavirus. And I know that can bring about some really terrible feelings and really impact our mental health. So I wanted to impress upon you that you are not alone. You are not the only one feeling this way, and that you can and you will get through this one step at a time. And I wanted to point out to you that we are all in this together. So I'm going to use one very famous entrepreneur as an example. So Richard Branson. And he is often, no matter whether you are a fan of his or not, seen as one of these mega gurus of the entrepreneur world. And he has quite a few followers. And whether you employ his business practices or not, it's undeniable that he has a huge business empire, absolutely huge business empire. But he is suffering right now as well. So if a man like Richard Branson, with all of his knowledge and all of his team and all of his wealth, is at the moment struggling, then of course you should be too. Now, his business is not struggling any more than yours. If we looked at the dollar figure of the reduction in sales and turnover in the last few months, of course, Richard Branson with his airline may have a larger dollar figure than you that he has lost in the last couple of months. But that doesn't mean that you are any less or worse than Richard Branson. We are the same. And I would be willing to bet that if we actually took a look at the percentage decrease of everyone's turnover, that we'd actually be on a fairly even playing field. But right now, that decision has been taken out of our hands. There is nothing that you can do right now to change the things that you are facing in comparison to the way that your business was. There is nothing that you can do about it. If you are a pub, club, casino, cafe, there is nothing that you can do to change the fact that you can't have people dine in right now. You can change your business model and the way that you sell. Of course, you can change that to takeaway. But there is actually nothing that you can do about the amount of people that can come into you right now. The same that Richard Branson has no choice but to ground his planes for the majority because he just has no people flying in them right now. But he can pivot and change and offer those planes for other services like moving cargo and things like that. And they do that as well on normal passenger flights. But it might be, instead of 10 flights a day, there might be 2, things like that. So you can see that there is nothing that you have done to cause this in your business. There is no pre-planning that you could have done to prevent this from happening in your business. There is no right or wrong way to respond to this type of, I don't like using the words pandemic or epidemic, but there is nothing that you can do that is right or wrong during this time for your business. There are multiple things that might mean that you come out of this on the other side a little better off. But there is no right or wrong in this. So if you wake up and you're feeling a little less than today, that is okay. Feel those feelings. You are allowed to feel those feelings. If you are grieving the business that you may have lost, grieve that business, of course. You are allowed to grieve that business. If you are one of the fortunate ones who are able to keep trading right now and you've pivoted to be able to offer takeaways or online ordering, things like that, you are still allowed to grieve the part of the business that you may have lost. And that is okay. We are allowed to feel our feelings. And when we try to push them down and shut them off and compartmentalize them, they will come out again later. And they will come out much bigger and much more ferocious later. So feel your feelings, but put a timeline on it. I will feel my feelings this morning until 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go and kick the ball with the dogs, or I'm going to go and do a craft activity with my kids. And I'm going to put business to the back of my mind for just a moment. And then at 2 o'clock after lunch, I'm going to head into my office and I'm going to brainstorm. And I'm going to think of all the things that I can do to maybe improve this. Because we're allowed to feel those feelings and we're allowed to feel that grief. But if you let it consume you 100% for multiple days in a row, it gets harder and harder and harder to climb out of that pit. Think of it like a pit. The longer that you're in it, the deeper it gets and the harder it is to get out. So definitely feel your feelings. Allow them to be an emotion, but put a timeline on it and get yourself out of that pit as soon as you can. Now, if you're finding it really hard to get out of that pit and just getting up and going for a walk, or putting a timeline on this is the time that I'm going to go and brainstorm or work on things, if that's not working for you, then please reach out and seek assistance. There are many mental health establishments around that you can get help. You can also visit your GP and ask for a mental health care plan, and they will give you a referral to a counselor or psychologist in your area. And you can actually access those for free, 6 visits a year, and they can actually increase that to 10 if it's needed. Your business is not a failure if you are reaching out for help with your mental health. You are not a failure if you are reaching out for help with your mental health. You are an absolute hero if you are reaching out for help with your mental health, because far too many don't, and those are the ones that we lose. And I don't want to see any business owners lost in this process. We can rebuild businesses, we can open new businesses. We cannot get you, the business owner, back. So please look after you. Now, I want to touch on the flip side of all of this. The flip side of all of this is those businesses who are actually thriving and prospering through this. Don't feel guilty for that. Own that. There are businesses who have managed to successfully pivot to something else that is absolutely needed right now. There are establishments with 3D printers that are making the face masks. There are businesses who were once able to manufacture rum, gin, bourbon, who are now manufacturing and making hand sanitizer. And they're doing really, really well from it. And I've spoken to some of those business owners, and they are feeling such a guilt that their business is not only surviving, but thriving right now. And that's okay, because we need businesses like that to survive and to thrive, so that they have money to then spend with other businesses when they come back. If you are feeling really overwhelmed because your business is really succeeding, or when they happen, the handouts that occur. I've had conversations with business owners who haven't taken a wage in forever out of their business, and their business isn't open right now, or they're struggling right now. And they're going to be able to apply for the JobKeeper payment, not only for their staff, but for them as well. And they're feeling a little bit guilty about that they don't want to hand out. They've always survived off their own success and not received a handout. You know what? It's a hand up. And if you feel bad about that, there are some things that you can do. You can go and order takeaway from your small local business who is only able to sell takeaways right now. You can use that money to go and buy gift vouchers at businesses who may not be open right now, but you can use them in the future when they do open. You can use that money to reinvest in your business so that when it opens again, you are open and thriving so that your employees have a job still. If your business is now thriving because they're now making sanitizer instead of alcohol, you know what? For those of you looking at that and might feel a little jealous of that, or frustrated that you can't just switch and change that quickly, you know what? Eventually, hand sanitizer is going to be back on the shelf and there's not going to be such a high demand, and they will pivot back to their normal business. So there are such a range of emotions that can be felt during this time, and you are allowed to feel them all. You are absolutely allowed to feel them all. Those bad, negative ones, those ones that can cripple us, feel them and then move past them. Seek help to move past them, acknowledge them, use them as fuel for your fire to get back up and push to keep your business alive and to succeed another day. And if you're not sure how to do that or what you could be doing right now, either to keep your business going now or to set it up for the best possible way that it could be in the future, then reach out. I am more than willing to help. I have a next step strategy session that I do with my clients where we completely assess your business, and it doesn't matter that we are in the middle of this pandemic. We can do this and we can have a look at what can you do right now and what can you be doing for your future, and COVID-19 just doesn't matter for that right now. So we can completely review your business and assess where you're at, what you're selling, what your services are, how you're selling them, what social media platforms that you might be on, and work out a plan of attack, your next steps forward in your business so that you can start implementing things right now so that you are ready to hit the ground running as soon as this thing is over. Because there is so much that you can be doing. Remember all of those times when you all told me that you were too busy in your business to work on your business? Well, guess what? For some of you, you now have all the time in the world to work on your business. So let's use that time, let's utilize it, and let's see you the best that you can be on the other side of this. Thank you for joining me on this podcast, on IGTV, on YouTube. Please, if you have enjoyed this content, make sure that you like, share, comment, follow, or go to my website, healthyentrepreneur.coach, and sign up for my email newsletter. I send it out once a month-ish, and I send links to my most popular podcasts and some content on there. All good stuff and all free. That's it from me for another week. Take care of each other, take care of yourself, and remember, we're all in this together.